What's up guys, my name is Natalie and welcome to my Nook of Novels. Today I'm going to be giving you guys my bookshelf tour. So I am going to be showing you guys every single book on my shelves. So I have this bookshelf right here and I have one in my closet. I have two in my hallway and then there's also one in my brother's room that has a few other books on there as well. This is going to be slightly messy of a video because I have a lot of books that are being borrowed from my friends right now, so there's kind of some weird gaps in my shelves that there are specific books that are meant to go in those places, but I might honestly redo my shelves a tiny bit soon anyway. Another thing that I want to address is that I still haven't done my March wrap-up yet, and I definitely meant to do that last week and then I was not able to do that, and then I meant to do it this week, but I needed a video that is going to be really quick for me to edit, so hopefully this is going to be quick to edit. Fingers crossed. I might be laughing at myself later, but that's okay. Ideally, I would really like to put up a video today because I'm filming this on the day that it is going up because things have been kind of a mess. So hopefully I can get this up. Just pardon the chaos. Without further ado, let's just get straight into the books. This first shelf that I'm showing you guys is just the one that sits behind me when I film, and so it is the top shelf on that one. And I just have these little Elsa and Anna pop dolls that sit here in front of these books. And I have this cute little Triceratops dude that my friend made for me. Now getting to the books on the shelf. The Secret Language of Sisters by Luann Rice. Shiver and Linger by Maggie Stiefvater, the first two books in the Wolves of Mercy Fall series. I have Forever and Sinner as well that go on the shelf, but my friend is currently borrowing them. House of Dragons by Jessica Cluess. The Red Queen series by Victoria Aveyard, which is Red Queen, Glass Sword, King's Cage, and Warstorm. The Waterfire Saga series by Jennifer Donnelly, which is Deep Blue, Rogue Wave, Dark Tide, and Sea Spell. Pitch Dark by Courtney Alameda. Glass by Ellen Hopkins, which is the second book in the Crank trilogy. And 5 Feet Apart by Rachel Lippincott with Miki Daughtry and Tobias Iaconis. And theoretically, Furiously Happy by Jenny Lawson, as well as Muse of Nightmares by Laini Taylor, the second book in the Strange the Dreamer series, and possibly The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern also live on the shelf, but again, those are being borrowed from friends right now. And Broken Throne by Victoria Aveyard also goes on the shelf, I think, but I honestly don't remember because I just got it back from my friend and I haven't really placed it anywhere yet, so we'll just say that it goes here for now. On this middle shelf, I have Severus Snape from Harry Potter, as well as Hagrid and Dexter from Dexter's Laboratory, Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco, The Kingdom on Fire trilogy by Jessica Cluess, which is A Shadow Bright and Burning, A Poison Dark and Drowning, and A Sorrow Fierce and Falling. The last two books in the Seven Realms series by Cynda Williams Chima, which are The Grey Wolf Throne and The Crimson Crown, because my friend is currently borrowing The Demon King and The Exiled Queen, which are the first two books. Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. The Unearthed Duology by Amy Kaufman and Megan Spooner, which is Unearthed and Undying. The False Prince by Jennifer A. Nielsen. Alice in Zombieland by Gina Showalter. The Miraculous Journey of Edward Tulane by Kate DiCamillo, or DiCamillo, I'm not sure how you say it. The Dead Queen's Club by Hannah Capin. The Beautiful Lost by Luann Rice. All the Answers by Kate Messner. The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. The First Last Day by Dorian Cerrone, something like that. Two Summers by Amy Friedman. And I also got back Everything Everything by Nicola Yoon from my friend and forgot to put it back on the shelf, but it does go here as well. And I also forgot to mention that Pay It Forward by Catherine Ryan Hyde also lives on the shelf. And this bottom shelf is kind of hard to get to, but down here I kind of just have some notebooks and journals and things. I have my colored pencils and markers and pens separated out into those little white tray things. And then I have some coloring books, some yearbooks, some textbooks, just an assortment of other things on the right over there. I'm not going to go through those, but they are there. So these are the shelves in my closet. This top shelf is just kind of an assortment of books that I have read and enjoyed enough to keep, but not enough to put on my main shelf that I film in front of. So we just have that little sparkly Olaf from Frozen 2 on the left, and then on the right side I have a little Tachanka from the video game Rainbow Six Siege. The Complete Persepolis by Marjane Satrapi. Yours Truly, Skyoshi by Megan Shull. And I apologize for the lighting. My ring light is kind of giving up on me right now. Wonder by R.J. Palacio. Pugsley by Ellen Miles from the Peppy Place series. Shiloh by Phyllis Reynolds Naylor. A Taste of Chicken Soup for the Teenage Soul 3 by Jack Canfield, Mark Victor Hansen, and Kimberly Kerberger. A Snicker of Magic by Natalie Lloyd. The Crown's Game by Evelyn Skye. The To All the Boys I've Loved Before trilogy by Jenny Han, which is To All the Boys I've Loved Before, P.S. I Still Love You, and Always and Forever Laura Jean. Cake Pop Crush by Suzanne Nelson. Freaky Friday by Mary Rogers. Barbie and the Magic of the Pegasus, a junior novelization, adapted by Carrie James. Sit Stay Love by J.J. Howard. The Swift Boys and Me by Cody Keplinger. Natalie's Secret, the first book in the Camp Confidential series by Melissa J. Morgan. The Year of the Book by Andrea Chang and illustrated by Abigail Halpin. Switched Up Birthday by Natalie Standiford. Saving Wonder by Mary Knight. The Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. Natalie the Christmas Stocking Fairy by Daisy Meadows from the Rainbow Magic series. The Isle of the Lost graphic novel adapted by Robert Venditti and illustrated by Kat Fiardo. The Isle of the Lost series by Melissa de la Cruz, which is The Isle of the Lost, Return to the Isle of the Lost, Rise of the Isle of the Lost, and Escape from the Isle of the Lost. Every Soulless Star by Wendy Mass. Frosted Kisses by Heather Hepler. The Key to Extraordinary by Natalie Lloyd. Things Not Seen by Andrew Clements. A Mutiny in Time, the first book in the Infinity Ring series by James Dashner. Beauty and the Beast, Lost in a Book by Jennifer Donnelly. The Book Thief by Marcus Zuzak. Maleficent, adapted by Elizabeth Rudnick. Flying Solo by Ralph Fletcher. The Scourge by Jennifer A. Nielsen. And Wilder Boys by Brandon Wallace. And this is at a super difficult spot to film, but I have a little angel dude right there, and I have a Bible and Prayers and Promises for Girls, and then a little dictionary and thesaurus. I'm not going to pull those out, but those are there. And then sitting right there, I have the Dust Jacket for Forgotten by Kat Patrick. And then I just have some little books that came with the Our Generation dolls that I used to collect. And I'm not going to go through those either. And then I have books 4 through 7 of the Enemy series by Charlie Hickson, which are The Sacrifice, The Fallen, The Hunted, and The End. And once again, I'm not going to pull those out just because this is super difficult of an angle to film, and that'll just make my life a lot harder, so it'll be okay. I feel like you've seen those before anyway, if you've seen a lot of my videos, particularly my TBR videos. So this is the bookshelf in my hallway. These are organized by rainbow, and I'm honestly kind of considering moving it to my bedroom behind where I film because I kind of like it better to be in the background of videos, but we'll see what I do with that. But this first shelf, again, is at a really awkward angle to film because it is too high this time, unlike the other ones, which were too low. On this top shelf, I just have some of my parents' books up there. I'm not going to go through those. They're just there. I do want to point out, though, Ready Player 1 and Ready Player 2, which are on my TBR. So on this first rainbow shelf, I have this little present thingamajig that my friend knitted for me for a present, and then Mike Wazowski over there, who is absolutely adorable. The Scorch Trials by James Dashner, which is the second book in the Maze Runner series. The Scarlet Letter by Nathaniel Hawthorne. Peter and the Shadow Thieves by Dave Barry and Ridley Pearson, which is the second book, I believe, in the Peter and the Starcatchers trilogy. The Dream Thieves by Maggie Stiefvater, which is the second book in the Raven Cycle series. The Crown's Fate, which is the second book in the Crown's Game duology. Days of Blood and Starlight, the second book in the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy by Laini Taylor. A Gathering of Shadows by V.E. Schwab, which I believe is the second book in the, what's it called? That one series. The Darker Shade of Magic trilogy. The Elite by Kiera Cass, which is the second book in the Selection series. Allegiant by Veronica Roth, which is the third book in the Divergent trilogy. The Kill Order by James Dashner, which is the fourth book in the Maze Runner series. The third and fourth book in the Spirit Animal series, which are Blood Ties by Garth Nix and Sean Williams, and Fire and Ice by Shannon Hale. Infamous by Cecily von Zygassar, which is from the It Girl series. series. Illuminate by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff, which is the first book in the Illuminate Files trilogy. Crazy Rich Asians by Kevin Kwan, which is the first book in the Crazy Rich Asians trilogy. Heartless, which is from the Pretty Little Liars series. I'm not sure which book it is, but it is by Sarah Shepard. The Kissing Booth by Beth Riegels. Perfect by Sarah Shepard, another book from the Pretty Little Liars series. The Probability of Miracles by Wendy Wonder. Crushed by Sarah Shepard from the Pretty Little Liars series. The 100 Lies of Lizzie Lovett by Chelsea Sidoti. Schooled by Gordon Corman. Dreams of Gods and Monsters by Laini Taylor, the third book in the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy. The first book in the Pretty Little Liars series, Pretty Little Liars by Sarah Shepard. Pretend She's Here by Luann Rice. Unbelievable by Sarah Shepard from the Pretty Little Liars series. Vanity Fair by William Makepeace Thackeray. On this next shelf, I have a Stone Golem as well as Elsa from Frozen 2. Rich People Problems, the third book in the Crazy Rich Asians trilogy by Kevin Kwan. Blue Lily, Lily Blue by Maggie Stiefvater, the third book in the Raven Cycle series. Insurgent by Veronica Roth, the second book in the Divergent trilogy. Salt to the Sea by Rita Sepetys. Peter and the Starcatchers by Dave Barry and Ridley Pearson, the first book in the Peter and the Starcatchers trilogy. The Selection by Kiera Cass, the first book in the Selection series. The Death Cure by James Dashner, the third book in the Maze Runner series. Starsight by Brandon Sanderson, the second book in the Skyward trilogy. Escaping from Houdini by Carrie Maniscalco, the third book in the Stalking Jack the Ripper series. Divergent by Veronica Roth, the first book in the Divergent trilogy. The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater, the first book in the Raven Cycle series. They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. China Rich Girlfriend by Kevin Kwan, the second book in the Crazy Rich Asians trilogy. Hunted by Maggie Stiefvater, the second book in the Spirit Animals series. Sense and Sensibility by Jane Austen. The Legend of Sleepy Hollow by Rip Van Winkle. And I'm not sure if Washington Irving is another author or if it's the publication thingy or something like that, but that is also on there. The Phantom of the Opera by Gaston Leroux. Oliver Twist by Charles Dickens. Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. Let It Snow by John Green, Maureen Johnson, and Lauren Miracle. Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor, the first book in the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy. Peace, Love, and Baby Ducks by Lauren Miracle. All the Bright Places by Jennifer Niven. Devious by Cecily von Zygasar from the It Girl series. Code Warriors by Stephen Budiansky. The Raven King by Maggie Stiefvater, the fourth book in the Raven Cycle series. Once and For All by Sarah Dessen. The Crown by Kiera Cass, which I think is the fifth book in the Selection series. On this shelf, I have Anna from Frozen 2 and a little panda that my friend knitted me. Skyward by Brandon Sanderson, the first book in the Skyward series. The Lost Tales of Ga'Hoole by Achulissa, Historian of the Great Tree, is what it says on the inside. And that is from the Guardians of Ga'Hoole series. Wildborn by Brandon Mull, which is the first book in the Spirit Animals series. Pollyanna by Eleanor H. Porter. Flawless by Sarah Shepard, which is from the Pretty Little Liars series. Will Grayson by John Green and David Levithan. Sherwood by Megan Spooner. The Heir by Kiera Cass, which is the fourth book in the Selection series. Surprise Kill Vanish by Anne Jacobson. A Book of Spirits and Thieves by Morgan Rhodes. To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. A Conjuring of Light by B.E. Schwab, which is the third book in the Darker Shade of Magic trilogy. Point Blank by Anthony Horowitz, which is the second book in the Alex Rider series. Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clark. The Sixth Man by John Feinstein, I think is how you say that, which is book 2 of the Triple Threat series. The Chronicles of Narnia by C.S. Lewis. Ender's Game by Orson Scott Card. A second copy of Oliver Twist by Charles Dickens. Looking for Alaska by John Green. Paper Towns by John Green. That Was Then, This Is Now by S.E. Hinton. The Giver by Lois Lowry. As Simple as Snow by Gregory Galloway. Obsidio by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff, the third book in the Illuminate Files trilogy. This Is Not the End by Chandler Baker. This next shelf is once again super short, which makes my life difficult, but that's okay. Orange, Volumes 1 and 2 by Ichigo Takano. All Quiet on the Western Front by Erich Maria Remarque. 1984 by George Orwell. An Abundance of Catherines by John Green. Prey by Michael Crayon. A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab, which is the first book in the Darker Shade of Magic trilogy. The One by Kiera Cass, which is the third book in the Selection series. Holding Up the Universe by Jennifer Niven, A Heart and a Body in the World by Deb Coletti, Where She Fell by Caitlin Ward, Peter and the Secret of Rundoon by Dave Barry and Ridley Pearson, the third book in the Peter and the Starcatchers trilogy, Guardians of Ga'Hoole, The Rise of a Legend by Catherine Lasky, Grimm's Complete Fairy Tales by the Brothers Grimm, Voices of Dragons by Carrie Vaughn, Allies and Assassins by Justin Somper, Helen Keller, A Photographic Story of Life by Leslie Garrett, Star Wars, I Jedi by Michael A. Stackpole, Realmbreaker by Victoria Aveyard, The Fever Code by James Dashner, the fifth book in the Maze Runner series, Capturing the Devil by Carrie Maniscalco, the fourth book in the Stalking Jack the Ripper series, this book that I never know how to pronounce by Victor Hugo, we'll just go with Les Miserables, Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte, Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen, Hiroshima by John Hersey. This next shelf is also in my hallway. It is mostly my brother's books, but it has some other things on here as well. And on this top shelf, I just have the Magic Treehouse series. I'm not going to pull out every single one of those because it would be extremely difficult considering the height of the shelf and all of that. So I'm just going to not pull out all of those. But this next shelf on here is mostly, well, it's entirely Rick Riordan books. We have the Percy Jackson and the Olympian series, which is Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief, Percy Jackson and the Sea of Monsters, The Titan's Curse, The Battle of the Labyrinth, and I am missing The Mark of Athena. And I forgot, but The Last Olympian is also in that series. I just got confused. I'm pretty sure The Mark of Athena is in this series, which is the Heroes of Olympus, which is The Last Hero, The Son of Neptune, The House of Hades, and The Blood of Olympus. The Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard series, which is The Sword of Summer, The Hammer of Thor, and The Ship of the Dead. The first book in the Kane Chronicles series, which is The Red Pyramid. The Trials of Apollo trilogy. They are The Hidden Oracle, The Dark Prophecy, and The Burning Maze. And then I have these other two companion sort of additions to the universe thing, which are Percy Jackson's Greek Gods and Greek Heroes. And those are both by John Rocco, which I just realized is the illustrator of the Percy Jackson Illustrated edition. This next shelf is mostly some series over to the left and some classics to the right, which if you'll notice, I kind of have some things shoved in that Maze Runner box set box because the other books from that series are on my TBR shelf, but I didn't really have anywhere else to put those, so I just kind of threw them in that box. The Harry Potter series by J.K. Rowling, which is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, and Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, as well as Harry Potter and the Cursed Child by J.K. Rowling, John Tiffany, and Jack Thorne, the Hunger Games series by Suzanne Collins, which is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, The Hunger Games, Catching Fire, and Mockingjay, The Maze Runner by James Dashner, the first book in the Maze Runner series, The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas, abridged by Lowell Baer, A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens, War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy, The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton, A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens, Heat by Mike Lupica, The Red Badge of Courage by Stephen Crane, Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury. This next shelf is mostly picture books, which I'm not going to go through all of those. If you guys would like to see a video on all the picture books that I have, then I will gladly do that. Laura's Luck by Marilyn Sachs, I Like It Like That by Cecily von Zygasar from the Gossip Girl series, The Dragon's Price by Bethany Wiggins, the first book in the Transference series, The Right Track and the High Note by Harmony Jones, both from the Girl vs. Boy Band. I think it's a duology, but there might be more. The Scorpio Races by Maggie Stiefvater, Star Wars Return of the Jedi, Beware the Power of the Dark Side by Tom Engelberger, something like that, and Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back, So You Want to Be a Jedi by Adam Gidwitz. These are both part of the same series. Crank by Ellen Hopkins, the first book in the Crank trilogy. Hunted by Megan Spooner. Fallout by Ellen Hopkins, the third book in the Crank trilogy. Some of these are picture book sort of things. This is kind of just an assortment of stuff over here. Anne of Green Gables by Ellen Montgomery. Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farm by Kate Douglas Wiggin. Black Beauty by Anna Sewell. Treasure Island by Robert Louis Stevenson. Because of Winn-Dixie by Kate DiCamillo. The Watsons Go to Birmingham by Christopher Paul Curtis. Champ by Marcia Thornton Thomas. Star Wars Jedi Academy Return of the Padawan by Jeffrey Brown. Animal Farm by George Orwell. Pictures of Hollis Woods by Patricia Rayleigh Giff. The Trumpet of the Swan by E.B. White, illustrated by Edward Frasino. Charlotte's Web by E.B. White, illustrated by Garth Williams. Star Wars Jedi Academy by Jeffrey Brown. And if you're wondering why it's not with the other Star Wars Jedi Academy book, it's just because this book is more shelved by color than anything else, and it just looked better this way in my opinion. Hatchet by Gary Paulson. Cruel Crown by Victoria Aveyard, which are novellas from the Red Queen series. Wanderville by Wendy McClure. Stormbreaker by Anthony Horowitz, the first book in the Alex Rider series. Arthur and the Invisibles, which includes Arthur and the Minimoys and Arthur and the Forbidden City by Luke Besson. Code Talker by Joseph Bruchag. Unsinkable by Gordon Corman, the first book in the Titanic series. Brian's Return by Gary Paulson, the sequel to Hatchet. Sports Camp by Rich Wallace. Holes by Louis Satcher. Atherton, The House of Power by Patrick Carman. Another copy of The Hammer of Thor by Rick Riordan, the second book in the Magnus Chase and the Gods of Asgard series. Star Wars Leia, Princess of Alderaan by Claudia Gray. The Last Words of Will Wolfkin by Stephen Knight. The Firm by John Grisham. The A to Z Basketball Book by Gary Pluff. Cool Careers in Video Games, which I cannot find who the author is anywhere. Underworld in Flames by Mark Cheverton, book 2 in the Herobrine's Revenge series, as well as The Phantom Virus, which is the first book in that series. Card Tricks. Who Was Edgar Allan Poe by Jim Gigliotti, illustrated by Tim Foley. And then I'm not going to pull out those next 3, but those are just some coding books. Grumpy Cat, Know It All, Everything You Need to Know. NBA Basketball Basics by Mark Vansel. How to Draw Nintendo Heroes and Villains by Michael Titelbaum, illustrated by Ron Zolm, which I think is kind of ironic that it's illustrated by a different person than the author when it's a book about how to illustrate. The Guinness Book of World Records Gamers Edition for 2014 and 2015. The History of Video Games. The Big Book of Boy Stuff. And Know the Score by Gloria Skirtsinski. So this is the first shelf in my brother's room. It's not really organized in any particular way, they're just kind of on there. Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. The Martian by Andy Weir. Safe House, one of the books in the Net4 series by Tom Clancy. Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. A pocket-style manual by Diana Hacker and Nancy Sommers. The Rainbow Bible. Astrophysics for People in a Hurry by Neil deGrasse Tyson. The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. How to Read Literature Like a Professor by Thomas C. Foster. Prayers and Promises for Boys. And then those are just a bunch of textbooks. I'm not going to go through those. These are basically a bunch of Star Wars books and then some other things. What If by Randall Munroe. The Xenoblade Chronicles, which is a video game strategy guide thingamajig. The Iliad and the Odyssey by Homer. Star Wars Cloak of Deception by James Luceno. Star Wars The New Rebellion by Christine Catherine Rush. Star Wars Planet of Twilight by Barbara Hambley. Star Wars Spectre of the Past by Timothy Zahn. Star Wars Vision of the Future by Timothy Zahn. Star Wars Legacy of the Force Invincible by Troy Denning, and another copy of Star Wars Spectre of the Past by Timothy Zahn. Star Wars Shield of Lies by Michael P. Cube McDowell. The Teeth of the Tiger by Tom Clancy. DEFCON 1 by Joe Weber. Telephone by Walter Wager. And Game Prey, which is another book in the Net4 series by Tom Clancy. And I also wanted to really quickly mention this stack of books that isn't really shelved. So I have Hunting Prince Dracula by Carrie Maniscalco, which is there because I just finished it, as well as Lord of the Flies by William Golding, and the new Oxford Shakespeare, The Complete Works. I've been reading that throughout the school year, just reading different Shakespeare plays. The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon, I've been kind of trying to currently read. How To by Randall Munroe, I picked up and then put down, but hopefully I will pick that one up soon. And then The Enemy, the Dead, and the Fear, which are the first 3 books in the Enemy series by Charlie Higson. I finished those, and those are sitting there because they are my friends. So that is all for this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed. If you did, then please hit the like button and subscribe if you'd like to, and hit the notification bell if you'd like to see the other videos that I post on Mondays. And comment down below if you've read any of these books on my shelves and what your favorite one was if you did. I will have my Bookstagram and Goodreads linked in the description for you guys to check out if you would like to. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!